Discover the incredible heartwarming moment when a maid's daughter transformed a billionaire's life. In the quaint suburbs of Ohio, 17-year-old Lily found herself in the familiar embrace of her community center, the smell of fresh paint mingling with the laughter of children nearby. Weekends here were blissful, every moment a reminder of the resilience of her neighborhood. But the undercurrent of struggle ran deep. Her mother, a dedicated maid, worked tirelessly, just to keep food on the table. Each paycheck was a fragile thread, binding their hopes and dreams together. Still, despite the weight of their circumstances, love filled their tiny home, shimmering like a beacon even on the darkest days. Then everything shifted. Mr. Anderson, the billionaire with a ruthless reputation, moved into town. Whispers of his plans to gobble up local businesses reached Lily's ears like cold winds from a howling storm. The corner store, her mother's pride and joy, was at risk. Panic surged within her. The thought of losing the place where her mother poured her heart into everything, where smiles greeted customers, left a pit in her stomach. The community's vibrant tapestry was unraveling, one thread at a time. Something snapped inside her. With a flick of her wrist, she launched an online campaign, a call to arms for her community. "Save our corner store." Echoed through social media. Friends shared it, neighbors chimed in, a movement bloomed. But so did Mr. Anderson's attention. Soon, her words reached the towering man himself. The buzz of anticipation hung in the air when she stepped into the opulent gala he hosted, surrounded by sparkling chandeliers and haughty laughter. It was surreal. The cacophony of wealth pressed around her, yet her heart raced with focus. This was her moment. Clutching the fabric of her simple dress, she approached him, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. "You're wrong about us," she challenged, her voice steady despite the thrumming of adrenaline. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She was merely a maid's daughter, yet she stood tall, ready to confront the titan of industry. "I see potential," he argued, but Lily caught the glint of ignorance in his eyes. "You could change lives." The debate unfolded like a beautifully choreographed dance, spirited exchanges revealing the truth behind their worlds. She spoke of dignity, of the heartbeats behind every storefront, the families relying on them. His brow furrowed, and something flickered beneath his confident facade. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Just as they spooled up an understanding, Lily's pulse quickened. What if he could change? What if she could reach him? The air thickened with possibility. She found herself at a crossroads, wishing for a ripple of empathy from him while he wrestled with the weight of his power. Could they bridge the gap between their lives? As the night glimmered on, hope sparkled in her eyes, teetering on the edge of something new. Would Mr. Anderson see her community not as property to control but as a family to cherish? Their worlds hung in balance, waiting for a single moment to ignite change. Lily stood there, feeling the world around her blur into a soft haze. She focused on Mr. Anderson's face, the deep lines around his eyes hinting at burdens unseen. This was a man shaped by power, yet, in this moment, she sensed a crack in his armor. It caught her off guard, a flicker of humanity. "You really think you can save what you don't understand?" he challenged, his voice rising and crashing like a wave in the sea. The crowd buzzed with anticipation, eyes darting from her to him. She could almost feel each heartbeat, each breath held tight. Lily inhaled deeply, her mind raced. "You're wrong," she shot back. "I know the people who work hard every day. I know what our store means." The words spilled out of her like a secret she could no longer hold. "We don't just sell groceries. We sell hope, love, connection." His expression didn't soften, but she caught a brief flicker of something. Was it curiosity? Doubt? Or maybe it was just surprise that someone like her dared to challenge him. The gala shimmered around them, laughter echoed yet somehow felt distant, as if time had paused around their conversation. Lily pressed on, her voice growing stronger, fueled by the weight of her community's dreams. What would you do if your empire fell apart? If you lost everything you built? People need more than just a roof over their heads. They need a sense of belonging. The crowd shifted, murmurs of agreement rippling through Mr. Anderson's gaze searched hers, an intensity there that made her temperature rise in nervous anticipation. You talk a good game, kid, he said, his voice low. But you don't know the reality of running a business. Then help me understand. She implored. Don't just bulldoze over us, talk to us, invest in us. We want to grow together, not against each other. For a moment, a silence fell. She saw the muscles in his jaw tighten. His eyes clouded slightly, as if she were pulling him into a place he wasn't accustomed to visiting. It was a gamble, and she was all in. Then, just as she thought she might have struck a chord, he blinked, and the facade returned. I can't change my plans, he said, tone clipped. There's too much at stake. Lily's heart sank, but she refused to relent. It's not just about you. The heaviness in the room felt like a pendulum caught between hope and despair. You may be right, he admitted slowly, words weighed down with unexpected gravity. But sometimes the cost is just too high. The back and forth escalated, emotions rising and falling like a tide. In her heart, she knew it was now or never. She took a bold step forward, determination lighting up her face. But what if you found a way to support us without losing yourself? There has to be a balance. His eyes softened for a heartbeat, and in that brief moment, the crowd around them held their breath, waiting for his response. A challenge loomed large as Lily realized they stood at the edge of a bigger decision. Maybe that's possible, he murmured, an inkling of intrigue in his voice, but how? Hope surged through her, making her pulse quicken again. If she could answer that, if she could help him see, maybe they could change everything. Determined, she settled into her stance. Let us find a way. Together. Just then, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket, snapping her back. An urgent reminder, a message flashing across the screen. Lily. They're planning a protest at the corner store tomorrow. We need you. The stakes had risen, bringing the fight back to her doorstep. She turned back to Mr. Anderson, feeling a whirlpool of emotion catch her. Would he come with her? Join her cause? Time was running out, and the real battle loomed ahead. Would he step down from his high tower and into the fray? As she stepped back, eyes locked with his, an unexpected question beckoned in the air between them. Would they forge a partnership or remain adversaries? Lily felt the urgency pounding in her chest as she read the message again. Protest. Tomorrow. The corner store. It wasn't just a word to her, it was a rallying cry. She tore her eyes away from Mr. Anderson, the weight of her responsibility growing heavier by the second. Her friends, her family, the customers who relied on her, she could feel their voices pressing against her. She had to be there for them. But what about Mr. Anderson? Did he even care? Or was she just a fleeting moment of curiosity for him, a distraction from the plans he had already set into motion? Lily? His voice pulled her back from the brink of her thoughts. What will happen tomorrow? There was a hint of concern breaking through his usual stoic demeanor. She hesitated, heart racing as she gauged the depth of the challenge ahead. A lot of people are scared and angry, she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. If they see you're willing to listen, it might change everything. It could bring hope. His brow furrowed. And what if it doesn't? What if I'm just caught in the middle? She met his gaze, intensity bubbling within her. Then stand with us. Show them you're more than just a name on a building. There was fire in her voice now. You can't hide behind walls forever. Not when it's your community that's hurting. They both stood there, close enough to feel the tension crackle like electricity in the air. Around them, the gala continued, but inside their small bubble, everything felt disproportionately significant. She could see the flicker of conflict in his eyes. There was a part of him that knew she was right. Maybe, he murmured, though it felt more like a wisp of hope than a firm commitment. Lily felt a surge of determination. Mr. Anderson, you have the power to make changes that can help us all. It could open doors, not just for you, but for the people who come every day to that store. The realization washed over both of them. In that moment, everything hung in the balance: her community, her dreams, his plans, their partnership. But time was ticking on. I really need you, she whispered, almost as if the quiet confession would bridge that gap between them. He sighed heavily, glancing around as though weighing invisible options. I can't promise I'll be there tomorrow. But I'll think about what you said. Disappointment washed over her, threatening to extinguish the small flame of hope that had ignited moments ago. But Lily forced herself to cling to that flicker. Just think about it, Mr. Anderson. I believe you can change your perspective, she said softly, trying to hide the desperation in her voice. As she turned to leave the gala, her heart as heavy as the world on her shoulders, she wasn't sure if she had made an impact. She had poured her heart out, but would he do anything with it? As she walked away, she felt her phone buzz again, shattering her thoughts. Another message. She opened it quickly. Lily, it's happening tomorrow. You'll be there, right? She paused. A million unanswered questions danced in her mind. Would Mr. Anderson show? Would he stand by her side? Would the community ultimately rally around the cause? In that moment, Lily realized she was standing at the very edge of something monumental. A shift was in motion, but would it be for the better? Or would everything crash down? Only time would tell as she stepped into the unknown, with only her courage to guide her. And yet, as she looked back one last time, she felt an unmistakable twist of anxiety and hope anchoring in her heart. What if Mr. Anderson could be the ally she needed? What if tomorrow changed everything? Lily woke up the next morning to a quiet that felt deafening. She rolled over to check her phone, a flicker of hope igniting in her chest when she saw it was still early. She had strength in her determination, but anxiety churned in her stomach as she prepared for the day ahead. It wasn't just another Saturday, it was the day everything could change. The sun peeked through her window, casting golden highlights on the dust motes swirling in the air. She pulled on her hoodie, her thoughts racing back to the gala. Mr. Anderson's hesitant response echoed in her mind. I'll think about what you said. But was that enough? As she made her way to the corner store, the streets hummed with anticipation. Groups of people were gathering, the murmurs of conversation a backdrop to the clattering of banners being hung, providing the first colorful visuals to the otherwise gray day. Their faces were a mix of determination and worry, but there was also an undeniable spirit of unity. Once she stepped through the store's door, the familiar buzz of the place enveloped her. The smell of fresh coffee and baked goods grounded her. Each customer she saw sparked the fire inside her even more. They were all counting on her, she couldn't afford to fail. Lily's phone buzzed insistently in her pocket. Pulling it out, her heart raced as she read the new message. Where are you? People are waiting. She quickly typed back, letting them know she was on her way out. Time was ticking. As she stepped outside, she noticed a small crowd already forming near the store entrance. The air crackled with nerves and expectations. She caught sight of familiar faces, Mrs. Carter from down the street, her eyes lined with age and wisdom, Jason, the skateboarder who always hung around the block, and even young Mia, skipping beside her mother, holding a handmade sign that read, "We deserve better." "Hey, Lily!" Jason shouted, raising his fist in solidarity. The sight of community spirit made her inside sizzle with pride. "Are you ready for this?" Mrs. Carter asked, her voice steady, though the worry hung behind her eyes. Lily inhaled deeply, willing herself to project confidence. Yes. We just need everyone to feel heard. A collective cheer arose from the crowd, their enthusiasm melting away some of her remaining doubts, but as she glanced down the street, her heart jolted. There was Mr. Anderson, standing just outside his sleek car, his expression hidden behind dark sunglasses. His presence felt outrageous but also promising. The mere sight of him shifted the atmosphere. Would he really step into the fray? Lily's heart thudded. You've got to go talk to him, she urged herself under her breath. This was the moment that could tip everything. Gathering her courage, she wove her way through the crowd, people whispering and pointing. Curiosity piqued, she approached him, just a few feet away, her voice steady despite the tremor inside. Mr. Anderson. We need you here, she said, the raw urgency in her tone catching his attention. He pulled down his sunglasses, revealing eyes that carried both surprise and something like resignation. Lily, he started but faltered. She stepped closer, feeling the warmth of the community behind her. You're part of this too. Join us. The silence that ensued felt heavy, each heartbeat amplified in the wake of her plea. Around them, people shifted, their anticipation building. Would he answer them? Would he be the ally Lily desperately hoped he could be? In that moment, everything seemed to hinge on his next words. The weight of the world hung in the balance. And as the crowd held its breath, the powerful connection between them thrummed with uncertainty. Could this be the beginning of something extraordinary or a disillusionment yet to come? Mr. Anderson hesitated, his mouth opening and closing as if searching for the right words. The surrounding crowd leaned in, the palpable tension wrapping around them like a thick fog. Lily's heart raced, pounding in her ears as she captured every flicker of his expression, the way his brow furrowed, as if he were wrestling with something deeply personal. Lily, I understand your passion, he finally said, his voice steady but laced with an undeniable heaviness. But this is complicated. I'm not sure I can just step in. A wave of derailed hope washed over her. He wasn't dismissing her. He was just scared, just like everyone else. The crowd watching, breathing quietly, felt the tension just as much. But Mr. Anderson, Lily pressed, her voice rising with determination. If you stay on the sidelines, nothing will change. We need leaders to step up, people who can really make a difference. Her gaze locked onto his, searching for a flicker of understanding, a spark of courage. Deep down, she knew this was more than just a conversation about the community. This was about recognizing the layers of humanity behind wealth, responsibility, and fear. She could feel the weight of every story surrounding her. The trembling hands of the mothers, the worried frowns of fathers, the excitement of the children clenching their signs. His jaw clenched, and for a moment, she could see him grappling with the privilege that often isolated him. Things aren't always that easy. You can't just ask someone like me to jump into the fray. It comes with consequences, he replied, but this time his expression softened. She sensed a crack in his armor. Maybe it's time to face those consequences then, Lily replied, courage coursing through her veins. Real change comes from vulnerability and standing alongside people who need help. Why would you want to hide from that? Mr. Anderson's gaze flickered towards the crowd. It met the hopeful eyes of Mrs. Carter, who nodded gently. A realization was dawning upon him, the community's collective spirit pressing against him like an impassioned wave. After what felt like an eternity, he finally took a step forward. All right, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, but it carried. I'll give it a shot. What do you need me to do? Cheers erupted around them, an explosion of relief and joy spreading like wildfire through the crowd. Could it be? Could this be the step they needed? The atmosphere shifted, sparking an energy that was almost electric. Lily's heart soared. Let's start by hearing everyone's stories. You can help us organize a meeting, bring people together. She exclaimed, thrilled by Mr. Anderson's change of heart. He nodded, more resolute now. I can do that. A meeting it is. Relief and excitement broke free within Lily, as if a burden had been lifted from her shoulders. She felt the hope flourished in her chest like a blooming flower, but as the crowd surged forward to shower them both with gratitude, Lily felt a flicker of doubt creep in. Sure, Mr. Anderson had joined their cause, but was he ready to face the pushback that would surely come from his peers? The day felt like it had just taken a grand turn, but with the victory came a hint of foreboding. As the crowd buzzed with delighted chatter, a voice from the back whispered, "What if he doesn't really mean it?" A shiver ran down her spine as she turned to see a fellow activist staring at Mr. Anderson. The encouragement in the air felt heavy with uncertainty. Lily realized that this was just the beginning. And as anticipation filled the space between them, one thought burned fiercely in her mind: would they be able to trust him, or would he ultimately betray their hopes? The days that followed felt like an emotional roller coaster. Lily's heart was split between gratitude and anxiety. Mr. Anderson was officially on board, and yet, shadows lingered around his promise. She watched him weave through the crowd during their meeting, tentative but making genuine eye contact. Informal chats erupted, stories spilled forth, and the energy felt infectious. Yet, every laughter and shout of support held a layer of tension. Doubt had a way of lurking in the wings. At the town hall, gathered in the modestly lit room filled with mismatched chairs, Lily sensed that the tide could turn either way. The walls were adorned with posters demanding change, many created by children who would one day inherit this world. But as she spoke about their dreams for a better neighborhood, she couldn't shake the feeling of a storm gathering on the horizon. "Mr. Anderson," she said, rising to address him directly at the front. "We really appreciate your presence here. It's vital that we see you up close and personal in these meetings. Your experiences could inspire confidence." There was a flicker of something behind his eyes. It felt like an attempt at courage. "I'll try my best," he responded softly, but his fingers tapped nervously against the podium. The crowd erupted into murmurs. Mrs. Carter leaned in closer, whispering words of encouragement. Lily leaned in too, feeding off the energy pulsating through the room. But skepticism rippled through the crowd, matching the flickering lights overhead. "Does anyone have any concerns about collaborating with Mr. Anderson?" A voice broke through, laced with hesitation. Heads turned, eyes narrowed. A younger woman, activist and mother, stood at the edge of the crowd, arms crossed defiantly. "We cannot overlook who he is. Let us not forget that he is a billionaire. What if this is just a publicity stunt?" Lily felt her chest tighten. That doubt, the one she'd tried to shake off, had returned full force. It seemed almost too simple, too easy. Was Mr. Anderson really on their side, or was he just playing the part? Would he walk away when the going got tough? But Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing. "We have to give him a chance. It's not easy to step into new waters, and if he is making this commitment, it might mean more than we think." The words rolled off her tongue, but even as she said them, uncertainty knotted in her stomach. Mr. Anderson nodded, visibly absorbing Lily's defense. "I want to promise to know all the answers," he said, his voice booming over the crowd, reclaiming their attention. "But I want to learn. I want to work with you, not above you." But the skepticism didn't fade. The crowd rested heavy in uneasy silence. Then, the young woman launched back, "You'll have to do better than that. What will you actually change?" "Words are easy." Her distrust hung in the air, like a dense fog, and Lily felt her stomach drop. Each question in the room seemed to launch itself like daggers. Other voices joined in, escalating the tension. Lily's heart pounded loudly in her chest, beating a frantic rhythm of fear. What if this ended in chaos? But in that moment, she sensed a shift in Mr. Anderson. The uncertainty faded from his brow, replaced with an unexpected determination. He met the crowd's eyes steadily, surprising everyone, including himself. "I know what I have in the past," he began slowly. "I understand now that it feels like I'm worlds apart from all of you. But I promise to listen. And I want to work together to find real solutions. Lily's heart skipped a beat. It was a small step, but maybe, just maybe, it could be the one that inspired others. As applause erupted from parts of the crowd, Lily found herself bolstered by a genuine hope. Could this really be the turning point they needed? But then dread knotted in her stomach again. Would his words hold true, or was it just another moment lost to empty promises? Questions lingered, unfurling like smoke reaching for the ceiling. Lily couldn't shake the feeling that beneath the surface, a deeper struggle was yet to come. What if Mr. Anderson had a hidden agenda? As Mr. Anderson resumed his seat with the slightest glimmer of resolve in his eyes, one chilling thought consumed Lily. They had made a choice to trust him, but was it a choice they would come to regret? Lily left the town hall with a whirlwind of thoughts, her mind racing a mile a minute. She could still hear the echoes of the crowd, mixes of applause and whispers that blended into a chaotic symphony of emotions. The skepticism hadn't disappeared, but Mr. Anderson's resolve had lit a small beacon of hope in an otherwise dim room. Outside, the evening air was cool, brushing against her skin like a gentle reminder of the long fight ahead. She glanced around at her neighbors, who were beginning to trickle out, faces still painted with uncertainty. For many, this was a decisive moment, the beginning of trust or a continuation of fear. "Lily!" Mrs. Carter called out, waving her hand animatedly. She approached with a purposeful stride, her face flushed with both excitement and concern. "What do you think? Can he really do it?" Lily paused, searching for the right words. "I want to believe that he can. He seemed different tonight. Like he actually wants to connect with us." Mrs. Carter nodded, but her frown deepened. "We've been burned before. We have to stay cautious." "Of course," Lily replied. "But what if this is our chance? We can't let fear hold us back." As they continued talking, a few more neighbors joined in, each expressing their thoughts, their doubts, and their flickering hopes. Some voiced hesitation, others were ready to jump in, driven by the belief that change was at their fingertips. The town hall suddenly felt closer. It wasn't just a meeting place, but a catalyst for something bigger. Later that night, alone in her room, Lily lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Her heart was heavy with the potential of what lay ahead. Images of the children's drawings had crept into her mind, colorful expressions of their optimism. They believed in a brighter future, and perhaps they could inspire adults to share that faith. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was a message from Ben, her longtime friend and confidant. "Hey, did I miss anything at the meeting? Any news on our billionaire buddy?" Lily chuckled softly, her fingers dancing over the screen. "Mr. Anderson might actually be serious. He wants to help us, not just talk." "Interesting," Ben replied. "I'll reserve my judgment until I see some action." "Bring me in on it?" "Absolutely," she sent back, grateful for his support. Their friendship was a pillar of strength, and in moments like these, she needed the reminder that she wasn't alone in this fight. Days turned into weeks. The team started to meet more frequently, brainstorming plans to engage with Mr. Anderson. Lily carefully crafted proposals, pouring her heart into each line, desperate to convey the urgency behind their cause. Yet each time she sent something, an undercurrent of anxiety would wash over her. What if her words went unheard? Mr. Anderson seemed to be appearing more consistently now, his presence a calming yet electrifying force. He listened intently during meetings, his eyebrows knitted in concentration, absorbing every detail they shared. He frequently asked questions, showing genuine interest and concern for the issues they were tackling. Lily began to wonder if he truly intended to change, but each gain felt tentative and could topple over like a house of cards with the slightest breeze. Then, one day, as Lily reviewed her notes before the next meeting, she felt a shift within herself. What if she took a leap of faith? Instead of just relying on Mr. Anderson, what if they involved the community even more? Excited by the idea, she shot off a quick email, suggesting a town day where residents could share their visions with Mr. Anderson directly. Maybe, just maybe, by opening up the floor to everyone, they could reaffirm their power and ignite a commitment from him. But something stopped her as she clicked send. It all felt like hope dancing on a tightrope. What if he pulled out last minute? What if this was all a house of cards waiting to crash? Her heart raced as she did her best to push the doubt aside. Each heartbeat echoed with her need to believe. Wasn't he that what they were all fighting for? As she prepared for the meeting, the weight of her decision loomed over her. Would the upcoming town day solidify their trust, or would it create a rift that could never be repaired? And in that moment, her pulse quickened with anticipation. Could Lily summon the courage to face the vulnerability that awaited her, and what secrets about Mr. Anderson might come to light? The day of the town gathering arrived with a mix of excitement and dread swirling in Lily's stomach. She woke early, the golden sunlight spilling through her window, casting warm patterns on the wooden floor. It felt unreal, so much significance hung in the air, and Lily could feel it all around her, vibrating through the chatter of birds and the distant hum of cars. In her small kitchen, she made coffee, the rich aroma filling the space. But her mind kept wandering back to the meeting ahead. Would Mr. Anderson actually show? Would he care enough to listen? She couldn't help but replay their last conversation, his earnest determination evident. A shiver ran down her spine, a clash of hope and fear. As she dressed, she recalled the children's drawings displayed in the town hall. Bright colors, hopeful faces, their future mapped out in crayon. I can't let them down, she whispered to herself, touching the heart-shaped charm around her neck. It had been her mother's, a token of resilience, a reminder of strength. When she arrived at the park, the early morning sun bathed the area in warmth. Tables adorned with white cloths dotted the grass, each showcasing community projects, stories, and dreams of what the town could be. The atmosphere buzzed as her neighbors gathered, both eager and anxious. "Hey, Lily." Ben greeted her with a wide grin, clutching flyers for promoting the event. "Looks fantastic, right? People are really turning up." "Let us hope Mr. Anderson sees it that way too," she replied, her heart pounding at the thought. As the clock ticked closer to the official start, a knot tightened in her stomach. She looked around, catching snippets of conversations filled with shared fears and ambitions. It felt like a tapestry woven from the threads of their struggles, every voice mattered. Then, right on time, Mr. Anderson stepped onto the grassy patch, his figure towering yet approachable. He flashed a smile, but behind it was determination, a look that told Lily he understood the weight of this moment. A collective intake of breath rippled through the crowd as he approached with hands raised, signaling for quiet. "Thank you for gathering," he said, his voice steady and warm. "Today isn't just about me, it's about all of you, your dreams, your needs. I'm here to listen." Lily could hardly breathe. It was beginning, the moment they had all waited for. As he opened the floor to questions, hands shot up. Each voice telling the story of their struggles, dreams, and desires. Each push for change felt like a spark in the air, but then, someone stepped forward. Ms. Ramirez, a longtime resident with an unwavering spirit, spoke out. "We can't just hope for change, we need to see action. What guarantee can you give us, Mr. Anderson?" The park fell silent, tension thick as shadows loomed. Everyone watched, waiting. Lily's heart raced. This was the moment that could sway everything. Would Mr. Anderson crumble or rise? "I understand the skepticism," he began, his expression somber, "but I want to assure you, I've committed to more than just words. I've come prepared." Lily leaned forward, listening intently. He was about to reveal something. She could feel it. A tantalizing promise was in the air, one that could break the last bonds of doubt that had held the town hostage. Suddenly, a siren wailed in the distance, interjecting the moment. A police car zoomed past, lights flashing, pulling everyone's attention momentarily. But when Lily turned back to the stage, she caught the spark in Mr. Anderson's eye. He had something worth sharing, something monumental. "Today, I'll announce the first steps we can take together," he said, his voice rising to carry across the park. Hope surged through Lily, but a nagging voice reminded her of the possible pitfalls. What if it wasn't enough? As she watched the crowd lean in, eyes wide, she felt the weight of her own expectations. This was only the beginning. What if this day led to more than she ever dreamed? But deep inside, she knew another truth lingered, hidden beneath the surface. What if each promise made today came with its own unseen consequences? The air crackled with energy, and once more, she was left with a question: could this moment define their future, or would it unveil hidden truths that would change everything? Lily could hardly hear the end of Mr. Anderson's sentence over the pounding of her own heart. She clutched the charm around her neck tighter, feeling its coolness against her skin. First steps, she thought. What do those steps look like? Mr. Anderson was now laying out plans for a series of community workshops. We'll have a town hall every month, he declared, excitement filling his voice. I want your ideas, your solutions. I'll match them with action. We can revitalize our parks, start a neighborhood watch. We can do this together. Cheers erupted like fireworks, echoing through the park. Yet, as Lily watched her neighbors uplifted by the news, a flicker of doubt lingered in her chest. Would they follow through? She had seen empty promises before splattered across the walls of town meeting rooms. Just as the energy in the park reached its peak, a loud voice cut through the celebration. What about the roads? It came from Mark, a longtime resident known for his straightforward opinions. Half of us can't even get home because of the potholes. Sound good or not, we need our voices heard now, not later. Lily held her breath, waiting to see how Mr. Anderson would respond. She could practically feel the unease ripple through the crowd. Mark, I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Anderson replied, his smile unwavering. I assure you that we will look into every issue. But I need your help too. We cannot do this alone. Lily blinked, feeling a wave of heat rising to her cheeks. The earlier joy seemed clouded as realistic concerns pushed their way to the surface. Mr. Anderson's intentions felt sincere, but the vision painted so brightly might still leave gaping holes. Try to trust, she whispered to herself. They need you to believe, Lily. She tore her gaze from the stage and scanned the crowd, saw friends exchanging glances, some hopeful and others skeptical. She thought of the children whose drawings she had cherished. Their laughter echoed in her mind and suddenly sparked an idea. An overwhelming sense of urgency bubbled within her, and she raised her hand high. Mr. Anderson. He paused, his brow creasing with curiosity as he gestured to her. Yes, Lily? You mentioned working together. How soon will this community workshop start? Can we dedicate a part of it to voice our fears too? A place for every dream, but also our concerns? A palpable silence followed her question, a moment suspended in time. She felt exposed, raw, but also electrified by the energy of the crowd. Each face now held a whisper of interest, pausing to ponder her suggestion. An excellent point. Mr. Anderson's affirmation cut through. We need a balance. This is not just about dreaming. It's about facing what holds us back too. Hope flared inside Lily again, igniting her spirit. Maybe he really does care, she thought. They exchanged a few words about logistics, and each comment built the moment up like layers of a house. The park was alive with anticipation. There was talk of scheduling meetings, and her heart soared as she observed Mr. Anderson jotting down ideas thrown from the crowd, and just when she thought they had reached a tipping point, a rumbling sound broke the harmony. A motorcycle, blasting through the tranquility like a comet across the sky, skidded to a halt near the edges of the gathering. Its rider, a fierce-looking woman, clad in leather, all but stole the attention of everyone in the park. What is going on here? She demanded, a steely edge to her voice. Lily's stomach dropped. Was this disruption enough to shatter the burgeoning hope? Would it lead them to an unexpected setback, or could it somehow reveal another hidden opportunity? The tension sparked, leaving the crowd waiting on the edge of uncertainty. What had this newcomer come to demand? Lily felt her heart race as the woman stepped forward, her presence demanding attention and respect. She stood with her head held high, eyes scanning the crowd before locking onto Mr. Anderson. The tension was electric, a raw current pulsing through the air. "What's this all about?" the woman challenged, crossing her arms over her leather jacket, the sun glinting off the metal studs. Another shiny speech from the billionaire, promising things that rarely come to pass? Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lily felt the stir of doubt creeping back in, but she steadied herself. This was a pivotal moment that Mr. Anderson straightened, a glimmer of annoyance flashing across his face. "I know where you're coming from," he began, his voice calm yet firm. "But I'm here because I want to make a genuine connection with this community. I want to rebuild trust." "You think that's enough? You're the one going to change things?" "Makes me wonder where you've been this whole time while people struggled," the woman retorted, her tone sharp as steel. Lily could see Mr. Anderson take a deep breath, absorbing her words. He wasn't backing down, though it was a battle of wills, and the crowd was engrossed. "I understand your skepticism," he admitted, sincerity now threading through his voice. "I've made mistakes, I've overlooked what really mattered. I want to change that. But I need your support." The words hung in the air, a truce offered on shaky ground. Lily felt the weight shift as people considered the implications, glancing at one another with newfound curiosity. This was the bearer of raw truth pressing against the polished exterior. "You need some support, do you? So what will you do when empty promises come crashing down?" The woman pressed, her voice steady, forcing everyone to reconsider their hopes. Lily took a step forward, uncrossing her arms. "You know what? We've heard it all before, but maybe this time could be different." Her voice rang out, cutting through the growing hum of tension. "We all want answers, we have fears too." She looked at Mr. Anderson with a mix of defiance and hope. "But we also want to be seen and to have a say in this process. Let us open the floor. To you, to all of us." The crowd seemed to shift, the air thick with anticipation. Murmurs stirred, a growing sense of unity beginning to sprout out of uncertainty. The woman's brow furrowed, assessing Lily's unyielding spirit. Maybe, just maybe, they weren't so different after all. "You're saying we're all in this together?" she questioned, the sharpness of her tone softening just a fraction as she eyed the crowd. "Yes. That's exactly it," Lily replied, gaining momentum. "We have every right to voice our needs, including you. Understood?" Mr. Anderson nodded, visibly relieved by Lily's support. "I want to hear from everyone," he reiterated, his voice echoing with sincerity. "Let us bring our fears into the light and sculpt a plan for a future that works for all of us." The woman regarded him one last time, something brightening in her eyes. "You'd really mean that? You'd listen?" "I will listen and act," he affirmed, his tone resolute. "Let us build something meaningful together. It's finally time for change." A shift rippled through the gathering once more. The dynamic had altered fundamentally, his commitment was now intertwined with the community's spirit. It felt like a spark catching fire. As cheers erupted again, Lily's heart soared. She felt a cascade of gratitude wash over her. They had survived yet another round with hope still alive. They could face fears as a collective. She turned to the woman, a radiant smile blooming on her face. "So, you're in?" The woman softened, uncrossing her arms. "All right. Let us see what you're all about, billionaire." With a grin, Lily felt newfound strength surging through her veins. The crowd swelled in numbers, united in purpose, ready to jot down their dreams and fears, but just as they began to share, Lily felt warmth fill her chest. This moment was not just a culmination, it was a beginning. Amidst the spirited voices rising together, one truth resonated in crystal clarity: they were no longer just a collection of isolated stories, but a loud chorus demanding to be heard. In that harmonious uncertainty, the sky shifted, and Lily knew they were right on the cusp of something extraordinary, something worth fighting for. Facing fear head-on, they would transform their community one story at a time. It was their moment to thrive in unity. As the meeting rippled onward and discussions ignited, she stole a glance at Mr. Anderson. The once ruthless billionaire stood amidst it all, just a man committed to change. With purpose renewed, she clutched her mother's charm tighter, feeling the heartbeat of hope echoing against every voice in the park. This is who they were, no longer just a fight against few rich visions but a collective striving for a brighter tomorrow. Now was their time, and so, as the day grew late, filled with laughter and shared dreams, Lily whispered an urgent reminder to herself: we need to hold on to this, because together, we can create something beautiful. And with that, they began. Now, before this incredible transformation fades into the past, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on the next exclusive stories that will inspire you every single day. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support is what keeps this community alive. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful journey. Let us spread the hope together, because only true fans understand the importance of uplifting each other. Don't wait not even one more second. Show us your love and commitment. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. We can't wait to read your thoughts. Your voices matter.